This is Comic Fix by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason. What do you have for us today?
Well, as I promised last time, it's all about Godzilla.
Nice.
Godzilla versus the Marvel Universe. Yeah, because it's like, well, like we're living in this time when IP are interacting more freely between its holders and all. It's like, and hey, so like, well, why not? And since Marvel did publish Godzilla comics at one time, why not you know in our present day like have Godzilla like interacting with like the Marvel universe because hey, why not? I mean, it's all good. It's like, and it's like there have been like other like crazier things that the Marvel universe has interacted with like over the course of the years. And mind you, I'm not talking about like Godzilla destroys the Marvel universe, which is the currently ongoing miniseries from Jerry Dugan and Javier Garron and like other creators such as Paco Diaz and Juan Cabal. No, I'm talking about the six one shots collected in the collection Godzilla vs. Marvel Universe, which is like available right now if you're interested in this kind of thing. So yeah, it's like yeah, six solo issues from like very talented creators who basically have like Godzilla fighting against like specific Marvel people in specific Marvel eras, and that is key here because we go from like the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the aughts, and the like in the tens here, like, and each of these is like specifically grounded in that era, for better and for worse. And to be honest, for better, it starts with Godzilla versus the Fantastic Four by Ryan North and John Romita Jr. Now, North is currently writing the like the current Fantastic Four like series, and so yeah, it's you can't argue that he's got like a good handle on the characters. And Romita Jr. is one of the all time great Marvel artists, and DC as well for the time that he was working with them. And basically, this has like like it does have like some like continuity here, like, and I'll get into this a bit later, but there isn't really like any strict continuity between these one shots, until they insist they are, which isn't really like like a good thing, but I'll get back to that in a bit. But basically, like there is like like acknowledgement of like the original like Godzilla movie for like from the 50s here, as Godzilla like shows up on this like on the shores of New York, like I'm ready like looking for a fight. And well, like I don't know if this is like intentional on North's part, but he does kind of establish like the kind of like the flow that these one shots have. Like Godzilla shows up on like like in the neighborhood of like the Marvel character involved. Like they like he like assumes like a familiar like guise or like power like, from the like from the characters like that he's interacting with, and that there's like a kind of like a mutual understanding that hey, like we're like like Godzilla isn't like the bad guy, but he's not exactly like the good guy. He just is in all, and that's how it is here. It's like initially it starts off with like Godzilla, like looking to attack um like like New York, but then like like after the Fantastic Four manage to like fend them off, they find like that the real threat is King Ghidorah, who has been recruited by Galactus as his new herald. And well, what do they got to do? Well, it turns out that the Silver Surfer like realizes that hey, in order to like face off against like the new Herald of Galactus, well, I get to see my power cosmic to Godzilla. So yeah, you've got like cosmically power cosmic Godzilla like facing off against King Ghidorah and like the Fantastic Four using their powers as backup. It's it's good fun, and as I said, it's like it acknowledges like like the ties to like the original Godzilla movie while also establishing like like fun like the Fantastic Four, like using their science knowledge to either face off against Godzilla or help him like as he fights against King Ghidorah, while also just like allowing Godzilla to interact as like a with with one like the significant Marvel powers here being the power of cosmic. So yeah, it's like it's good fun, it's entertaining, and it's like a really solid start to to this to this collection, and that leads into Godzilla versus the Hulk by Jerry Dugan and Giuseppe Camuncoli. It's like it's it basically focuses on Godzilla showing up to fight after like Mothra is put in peril by another giant monster. It's now they're trying to take out Godzilla this way, and also with the assistance of a Doctor Dematicus as well, which I did not do my research beforehand, and I cannot tell you more about Doctor Demonicus and his ties to the to the Godzilla franchise, if there are any. But he's just a really bad guy who faced off against Godzilla back in the day and fared badly, and now he's like incubating the the menace of it's like of Hedora. It's like is it Hedora? I gotta look this up real quick. It's like it is, yeah, Hedora. So yeah, it's like Godzilla is like facing off against this evil ooze thing creature, which yeah, it's not the first it is the first one he faces off in this collection, but he won't be the last. Hint hint. But basically it's after while it's like General Thunderbolt Ross is like leading the charge against against it. So again, he's got his own quote unquote thunderbolts, fighting against him, including Bruce Banner. Well, it's like it goes badly. It's like and in the end, the Hulk is forced to emerge from Banner's formerly calm psyche. But hey, now he's when the Hulk finally does emerge. It's actually kind of fun because Dugan does have does write his Hulk with a fun irreverent tone. Like when he just decides that hey, when like Godzilla just goes into cardiac arrest against Hedora, it's like Hulk just grabs a big old live wire and just oh, cool, tickle Godzilla's heart and the shocks him back to life right there. And then he also bleeds onto Godzilla's open wound from that, giving Godzilla a gamma powered means of fighting back against Chidora. And yeah, so that's basically where things are going to go. Like you got your gamma powered Godzilla fighting against Chidora, and then he succeeds, and then rather than just fighting against Hulk, they come to an understanding, and that's it. Yeah, that's fine and all. And that leads into the next like single issue, um Spider-Man versus Godzilla by Joe Kelly and Nick Bradshaw. This is, well, it's arguably the one of the best looking issues of of the bunch, because Bradshaw has a great detailed cartoony style that works really well here. It's as it's basically a story that takes place just after Spider-Man came back from the events of Secret Wars, and that means he's got his alien symbiote suit, even though he doesn't know it's an alien symbiote and all. So when he's enjoying the perks of the suit, well, Godzilla shows up and starts chowing down on Manhattan, and he just realizes that hey, I gotta fight this thing because that's what I do. But then when his when Godzilla's sonic shriek shreds the suit off of him, and then the suit attaches itself to Godzilla because hey, that's what symbiotes do. like Scott and realizes, oh my god, like I've created this like this even worse um threat by my own by my own means. It's like I've got to like like take care of him. It's like by the means that are available to me. So yeah, it's pretty solid. And then there's some like cute yammering between Black Cat and Mary Jane about like hey, it's like do you like this guy? Kinda, yeah, not really. You want to take him? Maybe. Will you pay me? That's how it is. But it's cute. It's cute, good fun. It's like and even though it acknowledges the events of Hulk versus Godzilla, there isn't actually any real continuity between these two one shots. Um it's it's pretty solid, and it's mainly carried by Bradshaw's like really detailed and expressive art. Like I mean, like I really enjoyed the guy's work on in the pages of Wolverine in the X-Men. And I think it's like you're really honestly kind of like just disappointed that the guy hasn't really like delivered a solid run in comics like after that. But hey, like the guy shows you like why he's like a like a great talent like in this issue. So hey, it's like so, so that makes this like this issue like pretty enjoyable on it's like on its own terms, even though it's like it does like kind of like wreck continuity as it event it tries to introduce god venom like at the end of it, because there really isn't any continuity that's supposed to be had between these six issues. It's just these creators just doing their own thing, and that includes Fabian Nicieza and Emilio Liso in the next one shot, Godzilla versus the X Men. Now, Nicieza is like one of the key X Men creatives during the '90s, and you'll either like think that's like a hey, that's great, or you think like, oh wow, that's when the X Men became like so complicated and so insular, like like fighting against focusing on like their own like titles, their own like insular stories and all that. Like, it became like impenetrable to like, you who weren't already like immersed in like X-Men continuity. And okay, I get that, but reading his work here, which obviously involves like the X-Men, um like fight being made aware of a of Godzilla's threat against a Japanese industrialist, and then trying being being recruited to like help fight against it. Well, like there's like a there's some interesting stuff being done here, in the sense that that not only are they like being recruited for this, but they're also like focusing like their own powers into a super adaptoid that has been recruited and stolen by Gambit, and enhanced with PIM particles. So basically, you've got like a super toy that's basically got the powers of Wolverine, Beast, Jean Grey, Cyclops, Gambit, and Storm, and Professor X fighting against Godzilla, and that's really solid. And that's like pretty pretty entertaining over the course of this run, even as it delivers like a pretty heavy-handed um message of like unity and forgiveness once it's like revealed that just why the why the Japanese industrialist has been like like doing the stuff he's done, and working with the Trask family, the Trask being the people who gave us the Sentinels, and we get a tri kaiju sentinel like in the course of this like fight as well, because Godzilla, it's like like I said, there's a familiar like theme here in the sense that Godzilla is basically like, like fighting against like threats that he perceives to the Earth, rather than just like he's just being a bad guy here, and that's true here as well with like the Tri Sentinel threat here that faced against him. So this isn't bad, but it's like it's all right. It's just like it's kind of like if you've read Niciez's work in the '90s, like I have, you'll find this like fine, like and maybe even a little nostalgic. But I admit that I have more nostalgia for the next story, which is basically by David Walker and Georges Janty, as we've got the new Avengers versus Godzilla and Fing Fang Foom and Jet Jaguar. Yeah, because this isn't just a like New Avengers versus Godzilla. This is like Brian Michael Bendis's Avengers, versus like Godzilla and Jet Jaguar and Fing Fang Foom. And it's like, even though like I will be the first to acknowledge that has been on like a rather large cold streak, outside of his his stellar work on like on Fortune and Glory, the Hollywood music, it's like the it's like the Fortune and Glory, the musical, that like hit like Walker's effort to channel like Bendis's like quippy casual like dialogue like in this one shot, which is basically involves the new Avengers. And when I say new Avengers, I mean, yeah, you've got Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man on board, but you've also got Wolverine, Luke Cage, Spider Woman on board. It's like, just them talking about how this fight against Godzilla in this one in this one town just like spiraled out of control. It's actually really good fun if you remember like the New Avengers stories, from that day. And if it doesn't like like actually like coalesce into a proper actual story, it's like it's still like entertaining on its own terms. It's like, for those of you who like you remember those like like those days. So yeah, it's like like I said, it's nostalgia bait, but it's good nostalgia bait, like as far as I'm concerned. And then we come to like the final story, which is one that I saw the creative team attached to it. I thought, okay, this is gonna be great. And I was not wrong, because yeah, it's like it started strong with Ryan North and John Romita Jr. channeling the science-based approach to Godzilla. It's like, and it's ties to the Marvel universe and like Godzilla history in general. Final story is from Jason Aaron, like one of the best Thor writers of all time, delivering a great Thor versus Godzilla story that also really leans into his extra tendencies in a great way, because it starts off with the Hand realizing that hey, like we need like a real killer to advance our agenda, and hey, who's the best killer of all? Godzilla. So you've got like this like whacked out hand priestess murdering a bunch of like like alleged killers in order to revive Godzilla, and then like setting Godzilla loose on Japan, because that's what Godzilla does. And then like Thor showing up to like fight Godzilla, because hey, he's a god, and he's gonna show Godzilla who's the boss here. And it's illustrated by Aaron Cooter, who does a great detailed like approach to like this fight. And in the battle, like eventually it leads like ends in Thor's favor. But then it turns out that the Hand have one more trick up their sleeve, and that leads us to like a great out of continuity resolution to this, because hey, if you're gonna like have like a fight between like this legendary creature, like it stands that that you're gonna want to like like go all the way. And Aaron takes this all the way, just going right out of continuity, to the point where hey, it's like like it gets like it leads into like legendary like epic status. and and Cooter like delivers like on every level. I realize I'm being kind of vague here, but but I kind of wish that all of the stories had just been like this crazy, and this over the top. But, in the end, Aaron, wrapping things up with like with, like, a hey with a, "Hey, you know what? This is, like, just gonna go, like, wee wow." It's, like, out of the ordinary. It's like, it really works, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And as for the my overall verdict on this, I mean, it's like, if you're I mean, yeah, I enjoyed it. But at the same time, though, it's like, I realize that, like, it's basically just, 6 one shots, like, working on their own, trying to, you know, like like, establish their own, like, "Hey, this is, like, the reason, like, why our one shot matters." And I think that, it's like, the first one and the last one really matter. And, yeah, it's like, there's some great art between all of them. But, in terms of Godzilla, fighting the Marvel Universe, it's pretty solid. And I will say that I did read through the 2 issues of Godzilla Destroys the Marvel Universe that are on Marvel Limited right now. That are written by Jerry Dugan and illustrated by Javier Garron and friends. And it's they're these 2 they're pretty fun so far. It's like, especially since they end with Godzilla, wanting to fight what being thrown into the negative zone, and everyone trying to, like, deal with that. And also, I like the like, over the top bits where just, like, they're trying to wonder, like, what are we gonna do with the Godzilla and all. So yeah, that's fine. And I won't lie. It's like, while this series has already been, like, events listed as being completed, there is a follow-up series called Godzilla Infinity Roar, which is a great pun, and, I love that. But, even though it like, involves, Dugan and, Garou basically stealing the best bit, from Aaron and Cooters, I got Thor versus Godzilla one shot. So, yeah, it's like, like, Godzilla versus Marvel Universe, you know, pretty pretty solid. But, is it an essential read? No. But, you know, it's good fun. Like, I enjoyed it. But, like, do I feel like I need to read the, like, subsequent follow-ups? Eh, maybe not. But, what we got here, like, solid, and I look forward to seeing, like, future Godzilla vs. Marvel Universe collaborations, from Marvel, like, from here on out.
So it's a fun read. Hmm?
Yes.
Good. Cool. Well, hey, it's that's always good. So you know what you're gonna be talking about next time.
Well, it's like, as I mentioned earlier, it's like, well, like, off the podcast. Well, I've got Transformers Volume 4. You've got Transformers Volume 4. I think Transformers Volume 4 is gonna be the next one we're gonna talk about.
All right, let's check that out then. We'll catch you next time on Politics by the Glick.
Laters, everyone.
See ya.